We wire them together with perfectly synchronized lasers. We are still facing the ultimate physical barrier. The moment we turn these things on, we risk browning out the grid.
Absolutely.
This is where that staggering metric from the beginning of our deep dive comes in. For every single dollar you spend on compute, you are now spending another dollar just powering and cooling it.
And this is the dark side of the AI rotation that the sources heavily emphasize. The energy crisis is not theoretical. It is happening right now. We are literally running out of power before we run out of computing capacity.
That's a crazy thought.
It is. The biggest bottleneck restricting the AI industry today isn't a lack of capital, and it's not a lack of silicon. It is electricity.
Yeah, the text notes that current AI data centers are already out-consuming entire small nations. And it's not just the power to run the chips, right? It's the power to cool them down. Because if you are stacking chips vertically, like you said, doesn't that just concentrate all that heat in an even smaller area?
Ugh. It creates a thermal nightmare. Traditional air cooling, just blowing massive fans over the server racks, is rapidly becoming mathematically impossible for these hyper-dense AI clusters.
The air just can't do it.
The air simply cannot carry the heat away fast enough. If they relied on air, the chips would literally melt themselves into slag.
So how are they solving this? Because you can't exactly just shove a window air conditioner into a multi-million-dollar server rack.
No, you have to fundamentally change the medium of heat transfer. And this is sparking an infrastructure gold rush in liquid and immersion cooling.
Liquid cooling.
Yeah, liquid is thousands of times more efficient at absorbing and moving heat than air. So we are seeing architectures where coolant is piped directly into microscopic channels inside the chip packaging itself.
Oh, wow.
And in immersion cooling, it's even wilder. You take the entire server blade and literally submerge it in a tank of engineered non-conductive synthetic fluid.
It's like deep frying a server, except the fluid keeps it freezing cold instead of cooking it.
Precisely. It pulls the heat away instantly. But, even if you solve the cooling, you still have to source the electricity to run the whole operation.
Right.
And traditional municipal power grids were just not designed to deliver the concentrated gigawatts of power that a localized massive AI data center requires.
Which leads to, honestly, the most mind-bending part of this entire deep dive.
Yeah.
Tech companies realizing that they have to become energy companies.
Yeah. It's a huge pivot.
The research heavily highlights this shift toward microdata centers and SMRs, small modular reactors.
Literal next-generation nuclear reactors.
Like actually building nuclear power plants.
Yes. We are seeing serious capital and planning dedicated to downsized nuclear power plants designed to sit adjacent to and exclusively power massive AI data centers.
Just for the data center.
Just for the data center.
Yeah.
Because wind and solar are too intermittent, right? The wind doesn't always blow. And natural gas has strict emissions constraints. SMRs provide zero-emission, incredibly dense baseline power 24/7.
That is just a staggering shift in the landscape. You're talking about companies that started out making software apps now, like pouring concrete for nuclear reactors.
It's exactly what's happening.
So synthesizing all of this for the listener, the atomic polishing, the lasers, the liquid cooling, the nuclear reactors, how does someone actually navigate this shift? The source material provides a blueprint, right? A practical mental model for understanding this new economy.
It does, yes. The analysis distills this down into a 4-layer AI investment framework. And basically, if you want to understand where the capital is flowing between now and 2028, you have to look at these 4 distinct tiers.
Okay, let's dedicate some time to unpacking these because it's super important. What is layer 1?
So layer 1 is compute. These are the mega caps, the famous foundational model builders, and the primary GPU designers.
The household names.
Right. And the thesis from the sources is clear here. This layer is largely priced in. The explosive asymmetric growth phase for these companies has, already happened. The market is completely saturated with their narratives.
To translate that, the boat has sailed. If you are reading about a mega cap tech company on the front page of the newspaper, you are late to the trade.
Exactly.
So where is the smart money moving?
That leads to layer 2, which is memory and storage. As we discussed, this is the first immediate physical bottleneck. The demand for HBM3E, advanced DDR5, and emerging storage class memory is wildly outstripping supply.
And the barrier to entry here is massive, right? Like, you can't just start up a new memory manufacturing company in your garage.
Definitely not.
It takes billions of dollars and decades of specialized knowledge to build these advanced fabrication plants. So the existing players who can actually successfully execute this 3D stacking, they have a tremendous moat.
Exactly. Which cascades directly into layer 3 infrastructure.
The picks and shovels.
Right. If layer 2 is the components, layer 3 is the picks and shovels required to run them. This encompasses the advanced packaging fabs at the silicon photonics networking companies, the advanced cooling systems, the customized power delivery networks. The sources characterize layer 3 as the new gold rush. It is literally the plumbing of the AI revolution.
I find Layer 3 fascinating because these companies, they don't care which AI software wins.
Yep.
Whether ChatGPT beats Claude or some new open source model beats them both, it doesn't matter to the infrastructure providers. Whoever wins the software war still has to buy the liquid cooling and the optical interconnects. It's just a completely agnostic bet on the physical growth of the industry.
That is a crucial point. It lowers the risk of picking the wrong software horse, so to speak. But layer 4 is where the most profound long-term implications lie.
Okay, what's Layer 4?
Layer 4 is materials, energy, and land.
The actual Earth.
The physical foundation of everything. According to the analysis, these are the true long-term choke points. I mean, you need vast tracts of physical land with access to massive water supplies for the cooling. You need copper. You need uranium for the SMRs. You need rare earth metals.
Great.
And you need the geopolitical permits and the raw grid access to pull all of this off.
You know, the source material repeatedly uses the phrase sovereign capability when discussing this layer. That governments are waking up and treating domestic compute power not as a tech sector metric, but as a matter of absolute national security.
Because they are realizing that if you don't control the physical layer, the fabs, the power, the land, you do not control your AI future. We are literally watching the birth of multiple trillion-dollar physical markets over the next 3 to 5 years, and they are completely separate from the software layer.
So to recap the core takeaway for you today, if you want to understand the future of AI, you have to look past the chatbot interface on your screen. You have to basically ignore the software hype cycle. The digital brains demand physical bodies, and right now the entire global supply chain is frantically trying to build a body that can handle the sheer force of this new intelligence. We are talking about lasers, atomic polishing, and nuclear power.
It's an incredible time, and this scale actually raises a deeply important question, and it's a thought I want to leave you with today.
Let's hear it.
If we look closely at layer 4, the materials, the energy, the land, and we consider the sheer physical magnitude required to sustain these massive AI brains.
The billions of dollars in hard infrastructure.
Exactly. If the long-term survival of AI requires proprietary nuclear reactors, massive private power grids, sovereign-level water rights, and vast tracts of physical Earth, will the ultimate AI giants of the 2030s stop looking like tech companies entirely? Will the software just become a byproduct while these corporations effectively become de facto utility monopolies, or even function like nation-states controlling the physical earth, energy, and water needed to keep the models thinking?
Man, it's a terrifying and fascinating thought. It definitely makes you look at, an innocuous server farm out in the middle of nowhere in a completely different light. They aren't just data storage anymore. They are the physical engines of a new economy. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the physical reality of AI. Keep looking beneath the surface of the hype, question the physics behind the headlines, and we will catch you next time.